Howdy, folks. I'm a bouquet of flowers.
They're called like flower ears or something like that. And
And this is a another bouquet of flowers, I
I'm
guess.
Amber,
Uh,
floral Amber, we'll
Floral
say.
amber. I'm bouquet Brian.
I'm floral Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Today we're also gonna have a tea time. Guess what type of tea I have today? It is the same one as Amber. So good luck. I made Amber guess. She was very distraught over me not giving her any options, but she
Yeah,
ended up guessing right in the end.
I did. Well, I was like, but what are my options? And Ryan's like, you have to guess. And it's like, but I need options. He wouldn't even set his tea mug down so I could look at it. He set mine down. I couldn't even see his, and so I had to just be like, guess it.
All right, let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Refusing to Help My Ex Discipline Our Daughter? I'm a 41-year-old male and I have a 13-year-old daughter, Mandy, with my ex wife, Jane, a 37-year-old female. I would say post divorce, we had a decent relationship and we were cordial for our daughter's sake, but everything changed the day that Jane started dating her current husband, Tom, a 47-year-old male. I guess that she needed to prove to him that she was over to me by becoming hostile because I, for the life of me, can't explain what else could be the reason for her becoming so angry and refusing to follow the custody agreement anymore. Because of my job at the time, she had primary custody, but I was supposed to get her every other weekend and summers while we alternated holidays. I had to take my ex to court twice and was just grateful that former mother in law was on my side and wouldn't allow Jane to feed Mandy lies about me. I tried to be patient and forgiving in the beginning, but eventually Jane pushed me too far, and now I just handle her with cold aloofness and documenting as much as I can when interacting with her. During the pandemic, Tom and Jane lost their respective jobs and were in danger of losing the house. Jane took me to court for more child support, which I wasn't going to fight, but was mad when she didn't get as much that she wanted. After the decree, I started getting suspicious because Jane and I have equal access to Mandy's college fund, so I decided to add in a special protection alert. I'm the primary on the account, and Jane was just an authorized signer. Unfortunately, my suspicions were confirmed, and I received a call from the bank about an attempt to take out $10,000. It was Jane, and I was mad. So mad that I went to Jane's place and yelled and cursed at her. I knew Manny was out for the day, so I thought I was in the clear, but didn't realize when she and my former mother in law pulled up to the driveway. Mandy didn't hear everything, but she did learn about what her mom tried to do. Mandy is now upset and acting out when Jane tries to discipline her, and Mandy counters that she'll just live with me and lose child support Jane and Tom desperately need. Jane is now asking me to help her put up a united front, but after what she did, I'm not looking to do her any favors. However, my mother-in-law thinks that by allowing Mandy to play us against each other, it will end up hurting her. Am I the jerk? And there are a bunch of edits, but we won't get into them. They don't really add much. So, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
This one's a little complicated. I
Yeah.
definitely understand not wanting to. I mean, talk about, oh, well, we need to put up a united front, but I've been violating the custody agreement and trying to steal from our child's college fund. So, like, I definitely get OP not wanting to work with her. I
Yeah.
definitely get his frustration
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And I think mostly not the jerk, but I do think the mother in law does have some point that if they allow Mandy to keep like
Yeah. I agree with you here. I mean, if Mandy is basically getting away with murder at her primary residence under the threat of I'll leave you and go to dad's now, I think that that's a really poor way for Mandy to be able to get away with things. Yeah, I think that she shouldn't be able to get away with things if she's doing things that are wrong.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the things she's doing are things like not wanting to go to bed. It's mentioned in the edit, so like
Oh,
not
I
wanting to go
see.
to bed, not wanting to do her chores. It's kind of like your typical 13-year-old tantrumy things.
Yeah, but that's still not good
Oh,
for
it's
her
still
to be
not
get
good. I'm
away
not saying it
with.
is, but I'm just like letting people know it's not like she's actually getting away with murder.
Oh, I mean, it's just an
I know it's an
expression.
expression, but it just like
Brian's like, oh, she's out there, committing homicide. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's some complexity here. And think that Mandy is playing her father, and he does need to put up somewhat of a united front, or he needs to take her in.
Right. And I mean, I guess the complication why he hasn't is that her school is in a different town, and so she'd have to switch schools.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that on her if she keeps threatening this?
That's
I mean,
true.
it kind of just desserts. If she keeps playing this kind of game, then I mean, she's gonna eventually get moved over to her dad's place, and then she's gonna have to move towns over. So, I mean, for sure, like, explain it to her like that, and maybe she'll start behaving.
Yeah, well, I think that is a reasonable thing. Be like, okay, well, if you want to live here, like, come live here, but you can't keep bullying your mom with this.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's do our tea time real quick.
Yeah, we'll do some tea time. I almost stole Amber's
Yeah,
tea.
I saw you going for it.
I
and
was
like,
going for Amber's tea. So, did you guess what tea that we have? We both have mint tea.
we do indeed. With oat milk again.
Yep, mint tea with a little bit of oat milk. Hopefully, you're having a good beverage tea time as well. Let us know what you're having tonight.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for wanting to drop out of my friend's wedding? I'm a 20-year-old female, and I was asked to be a replacement bridesmaid for my friend's 23-year-old female, we'll call her Katie, wedding. I was excited to be part of her wedding until I learned more and more. I was pregnant when she asked me to be part of her wedding. Since I have joined, 5 people have dropped out due to her attitude and high expectations. Well, Katie is upset because of everyone dropping out and the amount of people she has kicked out. She wants everyone to drop everything this year for her wedding. She kicked one personal attendant out for getting engaged. Here are a few of her expectations. 1. No one is allowed to get pregnant from here on out. 2. No one is allowed to get engaged as this is her year and getting engaged would overshadow her wedding. 3. You must respond quickly and promptly throughout the entire day. 4. Everything for the bride must be paid for by the bridesmaids on the bachelorette trip. 5. You must buy new outfits so that there are no photos of you in them already for each night of the bachelorette trip, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bridal shower, 2 days total, and rehearsal dinner, plus different bridesmaid pajamas for each night of the bachelorette trip.
Oh my goodness.
6. You must have your nails done professionally for each event. 7. You should already order all of the outfits for each event. Wedding is in September. 8. You must gift the bride at each event as well. 9. Bridesmaids must spend the night for bridal shower and night before the wedding. The rough estimate for everything she wants, bridal shower, Airbnb, bachelorette trip, food and drink for myself and her, decorations for all the events, outfit, etc., was around $2,000 on the low end. There's so much more, and I will add it as I think of it at the bottom. Now, I completely understand that this is her wedding, and I was totally supportive of her and all of this up until now. I'm 2 weeks postpartum, and Katie came to take my baby's newborn pictures, as I had hired her. When she came, she insulted my weight multiple times and reminded me I need to lose my baby weight before her wedding. Not that it's that much weight. She then proceeded to insult my infant daughter. She said it was sad she looked like my hillbilly boyfriend and that her skin tone was really dark, implying that's a bad thing. My boyfriend is half native, and when I told her that, she backtracked really quickly on her comment. However, she began to make fun of my skin tone because I'm a redhead and quite pale. She keeps commenting on Facebook posts of my daughter about her looks, and ever since I've blocked her from seeing those posts, it still makes me mad. Anyway, my boyfriend thinks I'm overreacting by wanting to drop out and quite frankly never speak to her again. And then Opie has a couple of, she just has links to some verification of the messages like that the bride sent, so you can see that this is legit. And her boyfriend is now on her side about this after thinking about things, so they're a unified front.
I don't know how he couldn't have been on her side to begin with. Like, this is absolutely atrocious behavior. Like, to come, like, the line was crossed when she started insulting OP.
Right, like, you come over here to your friend who's just given birth and you're like, oh yeah,
Your baby's ugly.
Your baby's ugly and you gotta start losing weight, like, right now for my wedding in September.
Yeah. And it's like, really, really, this is a bridezilla if I've ever heard one. Probably one of the most bridezilla brides. I just don't understand how she's, you know, I mean, I understand why she's kicked everyone out of the wedding because, like, no one's going to tolerate this kind of behavior. No one's going to be like, drop everything to do this kind of stuff. And OP just needs to get out now.
Yeah, well, and like OP even has like in her post, it sounds like she was okay with all the demands, and you take one of the few people who's agreed to be in your wedding party and then start assaulting them and their child, like
Yeah. Yeah, it's clearly like a bridezilla, situation. This person's just so entitled and so absurd. They just seem like a really nasty person.
they do. I mean, anyone who is going to make racist comments about your child and make fun of your weight, like, it's just not a very nice person to begin with.
Yeah, and then I mean, I don't know why OP's looking for, confirmation or like assurance that quitting out is the right thing to do. I mean, because like it's clearly the right thing to do
Well, she may
here.
have been on the fence because originally her boyfriend thought she was being overreacting, and
Well,
so
that's
she
a fair
may
point.
wanted like proof from outsiders that like I'm not being too like overreacting about this.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. That's a really fair point. Like, if she feels like she might be overreacting because her boyfriend, who, was part of this, is like, oh, yeah, no, you're overreacting. I can see why she would be like, well, maybe I am overreacting. But honestly, I think, like, just the requirements alone are enough to make just about anyone to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually getting my hair washed that day. Sorry.
Yeah, like I would not be accepting the role of bridesmaid in this wedding.
Oops, I accidentally broke my legs. Sorry. They're permanently broken, but they'll get better someday, maybe. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for putting up pictures of spiders in my room to keep my arachnophobic cousins out? I'm a 17-year-old female, and my twin cousins, 8-year-old males, have been staying with us for the last week while their parents are getting their house renovated. They're insanely mischievous. They keep running into my room, upending everything, throwing all my stuff everywhere, trying different passwords to unlock my laptop. If I latch the door, they'll bang at it until I let them in. Every time I or their parents yell at them, they get more and more amused. I discovered that they're both arachnophobic. So I printed out massive spider posters for each of my walls, my floor, my cupboard, and the side of my bed and my door. Now they cry every time they see them, and they can't enter the room without looking at one. I removed the one from my door when the parents complained, but I'm keeping the ones in my room up to keep them out. Their parents are okay with that, but the boys keep begging me to get rid of them, and my own parents are telling me that I'm being cruel.
Not the jerk.
Not the jerk. OP is not being cruel.
Right, you are entitled to want your own space where your mischievous cousins are not going to go upend everything.
Well, and you've told them to stay out of the bedroom, so there's no reason for them to be in your bedroom. So if
Right.
they're in there, then they deserve to have their arachnophobia rubbed in their face in some ways.
Exactly. Like I think taking off the bedroom door that would face the kids is like a reasonable request.
Yeah, I
but
really
like,
do.
there's no reason for them to be looking inside OP's room, so they shouldn't have to see the spiders.
Yeah. So as long as they are staying out of your room, which there's no good reason for them to be in there, then no. And as long as you're not chasing them around the house with pictures of spiders, you're fine, right? I would say this would be a little bit of a different situation if you were like planting spider, pictures in their room and like
Right.
going out of your way to make sure that they like you put like fake spiders everywhere and stuff like that.
Absolutely, but there's nothing cruel about one like try because OP has tried keeping them out and it has failed miserably, and she's finally found something that works. And I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with putting up a few pictures that'll keep the kids out.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next story is: Am I the jerk for telling a bride her wedding dress was average at best? I would like to say I'm not a fashionista. I'm not someone who would typically even think this, but she was acting ridiculous. My husband's grandfather is getting married for the first time to someone 10 years younger than my mother in law. I will call her Amanda. Amanda is pretty awful and always thinks everyone is jealous of her. Recently, father in law and Amanda had us over for dinner, and she showed mother in law, sister in law, and I her wedding gown. It is fine, but pretty trendy and something I've seen a lot of before. I told her it was lovely, and we moved on. Later in the evening, she got mad because mother in law started walking away to go to the bathroom without asking permission. Grandfather in law told Amanda that she was being weird, and mother in law doesn't have to announce it and ask permission. Amanda decided that mother in law was trying to steal or tamper with the dress and said she would escort her. It was so bizarre. She was right at the door yelling at mother-in-law that she can't hear her peeing. Hurry up. Mother-in-law was telling her to leave. Father-in-law joined in and was laughing hysterically. Mother-in-law screamed that Amanda was a dumb bee, and Amanda told mother-in-law to stop peeing and said maybe she has diabetes from those cookies she was eating. Mother-in-law is not overweight, but has a history of an eating disorder, and she had been eating cookies. Father-in-law snapped at Amanda to shut her mouth. Then Amanda said, "Flush, bee, we don't have time for this, and I'm not taking any chances that you are playing something in there." I finally had enough and snapped at Amanda that no one wants her dress. It is average at best and looks like it came from the surplus rack at David's bridal. Mother-in-law's dress was better, mine was better, and why would we steal that? Amanda just got quiet, but grandfather-in-law sent out a group text later that night, and he says he is furious that we were being mean girls and bullies and really hurt Amanda, and she is now insecure about the wedding.
Well, what do you think of this one?
Not the jerk. I mean, this behavior, it sounds like she's one of those people who is just like really thinks that like everyone is always jealous of her and trying to like steal her luster.
Yeah.
And like her behavior here is concerning.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. I'm a little conflicted on this one, to be honest.
I'm not conflicted because one, she was being rude to someone who has a history of an eating disorder.
That's a very good point.
I mean, calling her dress like ugly is, or not even ugly, but saying that it's like kind of tacky and common is like a far cry from like monitoring someone to the bathroom and like telling.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think that like she's acting absolutely absurd here. I don't think that she's the bride to be is acting in a reasonable fashion. I think she's overly jealous and insecure, and I think that that is not a good look for her. And hopefully she ends up realizing that basically she's acting absurd here. But I think it probably would have been a little more of an appropriate thing to just kind of pull her aside and then say, look, stop acting this way, no one wants your dress.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it could have been handled better, and I'm not saying it couldn't be, but also like in the moment, things were getting pretty out of hand there. Like everyone's kind of like yelling. I can see OIOP would just be like, no one wants to take your dress, like you just need to stop.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I like I said, I think I'm a little bit conflicted on this one, and I'm not saying that like I disagree with you, entirely or anything like that, but I'm just saying like I'm just slightly conflicted. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to Amber for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
If you like this video, consider giving us a like, and if you dislike this video, consider giving us a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye. Happy Friday, Junior.
Oh, I almost forgot. It's Friday Junior, isn't it?
It is.
I knew I was forgetting something. We even talked about it earlier today. We're like, oh, it's Friday Junior. So, yeah. Happy Friday Junior. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.